Welcome to Engine Adventures. Today we've got the 2021 Chevy Colorado ZR2. This is the Bison, and of course the ZR2 gives you those Multimatic DSSV shocks, and the Bison gives you all sorts of fun goodies like recovery points on the rear, like full-on skid plates underneath. You get all this protection to keep you from smashing. These are body mounted, but they should be pretty sturdy. But yeah, it's fuel tank skid plate, rear diff skid plate. This thing really well set up for off-roading. You also get the AEV rims, so that package is like $5,700 or something. And one thing I don't like, look at where those tow hooks are. Recovery points. It'd be nice to have them up here. I don't know, I'm sure there's some sort of winch capability in there, but it'd be nice to have recovery points where you can get to them and not clearing the heck underneath it. So it does have the fog lights, so let's go ahead and do the fog light test. And it does pass, of course. Fog lights are on, headlights are off, but the running lights are on. Exactly what you want when you're driving in fog or a blizzard or whatever else. Tires are these Goodyear Wrangler Duratracs, and actually I've been pretty impressed with them up here in the snow. It's been packed down a bit. There's about a foot of snow, but it's all packed down, so yeah, a little bit slick and icy, but overall it's really done quite well. Those Multimatic DSSV shocks are not as smooth as I expected off-road. They're kind of bouncing and bumping around. It's not the best, smoothest ride of any vehicle, but there's nothing harsh. I didn't run into any issues, you know, bottoming out the suspension or any of that. So they do pretty well. And I've got everything locked up right now, so front and rear locker on. And when you put it in four-wheel drive, of course, center differential is locked as well. So when you do that, it does turn off the ABS when you're in 4 low with all that on. It keeps the ABS on, so it still does, you know, the braking, of course, but then it does the pinion control where it brakes the spinning wheels until you lock both differentials, front and rear. So pretty cool. It does have what appears to be a decent spare, as it is the Goodyear Wrangler Duratrac. Well, that's what you want on an off-road vehicle. Sometimes you don't get that. This one only has the rear camera, doesn't have the surround view or front cameras or anything like that. So let's take a look under the hood. All right, so this is just the standard V6. I'll put the horsepower and torque up on the screen. It would be nice to have more power. Off-road, really, it's probably not a problem at all, especially when you're in 4 low, but in 4 high, 2-wheel drive, whatever, you're cruising on the freeway, it feels like you really have to downshift a lot. It's paired to an 8-speed auto, plenty of gears. It'll downshift and get you where you need to be, but it's just kind of a pain. You're accelerating on the freeway, it'll downshift a gear or 2 before it finally starts to pick up and go. So it definitely lacks torque a little bit. I do like this, but I think it's anti-reflective somewhat. It's not like overly anti-reflective, so you still can get some glares off it, but the way it's laid out, it doesn't actually get into the driver. The ZR2 Bison is a little bit better equipped than most of the other Bisons, most of the other Colorados and the ZR2s. You get these AEV, American Expedition Vehicle logo sewn into the headrest. That is partially because of the package, and we'll look at that in just a minute too. I did want to go over some other things as well, but before we get to that, it still is, I don't know, it's still a Colorado. The setup isn't amazing. It's not terrible, but look where your trailer brake controller is, and your 4-wheel drive switch when you're driving. I guess right now you can see that, but you can't see the trailer brake controller at all, which is fine. Once you get used to it, won't be a problem, but it's better to have it here than on that other side, I would think. This one does have one button here for drive modes, and that's the off-road mode. And then it does have the four-wheel drive auto as well. And then to engage the lockers, we already talked about this a little bit, but even in two-wheel drive, you can lock the rear differential. And then in any of the four-wheel drive modes, you can have the rear locked. And in 4-low, you can have both front and rear locked, which then disables the ABS. And that does kind of make sense if you have all the wheels locked together. There's no, see the ABS right there, there's no easy way for the vehicle to tell if it's sliding or not. If you're going like 3 miles an hour and your wheels are locked up, all your wheels are spinning the same speed, the GPS probably isn't going to be able to pick it up. Maybe they could pull from that GPS, but most likely not. So it's best just to have ABS off when both of those are locked, and then when just the rear is locked, there's no need for that because you can still have wheels that spin at different speeds. So it does have the downhill assist, trailer or tow haul mode, flashers, traction control, same as all the other Chevys. Push it once and it just turns it off. Push it and hold it and it turns off traction control and electronic stability control. There you go. Here on the right controls your center screen there, information, and it does give you the off-road mode and your trans temp. This off-road mode, for some reason I lost both the inclinometers for a while. I don't know, it was being weird. Oil pressure, battery voltage, and this was weird too. It's a smart charging alternator, so I was reading 12.5 volts at times. Scared me a little bit at first. I thought the alternator wasn't working, and then it would kick back on, start reading 13-ish. So a few things there in the menu. Your tire pressures. We did not air down when we were in the snow. Would have made probably a decent difference, but we just didn't do it. It does have, if you go down into low, you can lock the 8-speed transmission from going above certain gears. Auto climate control. Pretty basic and easy to use. I like all the switches, the radio, everything you can reach. You can adjust it how you want without going through the screen. So, let's take a look at the Monroney. So this is the 2021 Colorado 4-wheel drive, of course, ZR2 crew cab. Exterior is satin steel gray metallic. I really like that color. It was really quite a nice color. And then it's jet black interior. Engine is the 3.6 liter direct injection dual overhead cam V6, variable valve timing, and I think it will switch down to a V4 when you're cruising. I'll put those power numbers up on the screen, and torque, of course. And then the 8-speed automatic transmission. Basically all just the standard stuff for the ZR2, 43,200, and of course the ZR2 is the front and rear lockers, and I'm surprised to see that it comes with a trailer brake controller as part of that standard package in the ZR2. The DSSV Multimatic shocks, of course, 2-speed transfer case, hill descent control, lots of stuff standard on this one. But then you come over here and add the ZR2 Bison package for $5,750. You get the front fog lights, AEV content, which is the hot stamp boron steel skid plates, and those are basically covering everything, including the rear differential. Very cool. 17-inch dark graphite aluminum wheels, also very cool. Front and rear bumpers, and they have little wings that go out and kind of protect the quarter panel on the rear. The wheel flares, floor liners, and embroidered headrest, and then the rear axle is a 342, which is included. So the total price with options, destination charges, and the base vehicle brings it to $50,145. And I'm sure there are other options you can get on this. So it's still, I mean, it has the wireless charging. It has a lot of features already. But I bet there are some other things, upgraded sound system and stuff like that, that you can get that this one doesn't have. So up here on top, sunglass holder. Not sure where that one is. Oh, that's just the lights. I thought the middle was a button there. And then, yeah. Of course, vanity mirrors with lights. The rear mirror is just a standard rear view mirror. There's no camera on that one. And speaking of cameras, on this particular vehicle, there's just the one. So a front view camera is nice sometimes when off-roading and crest a hill. The surround view I don't find as convenient. There's no depth perception or anything, but it would be nice to have the front view camera. Overall, it's not a bad vehicle. When I first got in it, I was not impressed. I was thinking the Frontier had a little bit better interior, but as I drove this a little bit longer, I feel like the ZR2, well, at least this AEV version, is actually nicer inside than the Frontier. It's not as cheap. Of course, it does have this heated steering wheel as well. It's warm down here in Southern California, so I haven't needed it. There are AEV floor mats too, and then you get the ZR2 kick plates or whatever. It also didn't mention, I wonder, I guess the rock rails, they must come standard on the ZR2 because it doesn't list it as an option there with the AEV package. Overall, I feel like the Colorado is just a basic truck, and I like that. Of course, the ZR2 is a little bit more pricey, has good capability. I think when off-roading, we weren't able to go fast enough to get a full experience with these shocks. So I wish I had more time with this. I only had it they dropped it off Monday, picked it up Wednesday, just due to how the vacation is working out, or the travel rather is working out. And so I had basically one day to drive it and take it off road, and it was just one little section that I could find close by. So I wasn't able to fully test the capabilities of the shocks on this one. And when we got up there was like a foot of snow. So check out the off-road video that will be coming up after this one, and it will show you what we did there. Thanks for watching Engine Adventures review of this 2021 Chevy Colorado ZR2 Bison. I really enjoy this vehicle. That AEV package gives you nice strong steel bumpers. I said before, I wish those were up front. You get these Multimatic DSSV shocks. I guess this fender flare is part of the Bison package, but you do get fender flares a little bit as well with just the plain old ZR2. Rock rails that are body mounted, that's kind of weird, but I'll have to look that up, see how strong those are, if you can actually rest the weight of the vehicle. Additional protection here on those quarter panels, which I did end up backing into the snowbank and stuff, trying to get off the road and let other people go by, and didn't have any problems as far as damaging anything. Everything is just solid steel. Love the recovery points here, or whatever you want to use those for, but yeah, definitely solid vehicle with great off-road design and excellent undercarriage protection. Rear diff skid plate. It does okay. I wish it did have a little bit more power. All these small trucks, the Tacoma, the Frontier actually felt the best. The Ranger's probably fastest, and then the Frontier, and then I don't know, between the Tacoma and this thing, maybe the Tacoma, but anyway, they seem to just get their power up high in the RPM range, which the Frontier probably was the best with that, getting it a little bit lower, but it also had the 9-speed transmission. The Ford Ranger had 10. Anyway, I'm getting off track. If you liked what you saw, give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications. If you didn't like it,
and you give me a thumbs down, be sure to comment and let me know why. I'll do my best to make any improvements I can. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.